Hey guys, Dr. Jake here. Today we're going to be chatting about food allergies. I got a longer video coming out about food allergens and what you can do to actually get rid of them and solve them. Again, can you get rid of them? We'll talk about that here today. Make sure you sub down below, hit that bell so you get notifications of more great content coming your way. So, food allergies, we have a couple types of different food allergies, right? We're going to have your anaphylactic, your IgE type of food allergies. These are the EpiPen ones. You get a lot of kids today with nut allergies. These are things that you know about early on that you typically have an EpiPen for, and it usually is severe. It's IgE mediated. It's going to close out your airways. High risk. People know about these things, right? Nuts, maybe kiwi, maybe a weird fruit. You see it with strawberries every now and then. All right, these are IgE. Then we have kind of our more delayed, kind of mediated allergies, whether it's IgA, which is usually more mucosal lining, IgG. You can even see some T cell mediated allergy issues. These are going to be more delayed allergy responses. And functional medicine looks at these. There's different testing on the functional medicine side here. Again, a lot of times it's playing whack-a-mole because if you avoid one food over time, then the new food becomes the allergen kind of response. And so it's this whack-a-mole. Like, well, why is it? How do we get to the root issue? So I did a longer form video that'll be up very soon. So make sure you sub down below. But in general, you want to look at the gut lining. The gut barrier, it plays a major role with foods. Actually, when they're in your gut lining, right? Or like, let's just imagine this is like your intestinal tube, right? This is your small intestine. Food's in here, right? It's still actually outside of your body. Isn't that weird? It has to get absorbed by the microvilli, go into the bloodstream. Now it's actually inside your body. So you draw a line, even though it's inside of you, it's still outside of your body technically. And so as it goes into the bloodstream, your immune system starts to see it. It interacts with it more. You have a lot of immune cells in the gall, in the malt. The malt is the mucosal associated lymphoid tissue. That's going to be more in the small intestine. The gall is the gastric associated lymphoid tissue. That's more in the stomach. But you have these lymph cells that are going to be in the tissue. And so as it gets sucked in, your immune system will interact with it more and will develop more allergies to it. So anything that's going to impair the gut barrier. So different food allergens, gluten and casein tend to be more allergenic in general, and that can start to increase inflammation, increase immune activation. That can make the gut barrier weaker because you start to have more zonulin protein being produced. That can unzip that tight junction a little bit and allow more foods to get into the bloodstream, which then creates more immune activation and more gut permeability. And so it's kind of a positive feedback loop. So different foods can, right? Whether it's your processed sugars, your grains, it could be refined processed seed or nut oils that are more damaged and oxidized. It could be just your grains, your gluten, your casein. You could even see things that you have an intolerance to, like lactose, which is a milk sugar. You don't break it down, you start to get more bloated or gassy. Or beans, right? You have a hard time breaking down that protein in the beans, right? You get more gassy, you get more bloated with that. So anything you have an intolerance to, you don't break it down well, that's an issue. Sometimes just not having enough enzymes and acids and bile on board can make it hard to break foods down. Any food that's not broken down completely, it's going to ferment, it's going to rancidify, it's going to putrefy in your intestinal tract and create more symptoms, more bloating, more gas. And then your immune system's going to see larger portions of these proteins and have a greater likelihood to develop an immune reaction to it. And so it's important to think about that. Now, other factors environmentally that could be impacting the gut lining. So antibiotic exposure is going to wipe down a lot of the beneficial bacteria. It's going to create more of a rebound overgrowth for bad bugs. So we have more bad bugs, whether it's from antibiotics, whether it's from eating more processed junky food, whether it's from a lack of fermented food in our diet, whether it's probiotic-rich food from sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, right? Fermented pickles. We're missing a lot of fermented foods. And so we have low levels of beneficial bacteria, high levels of dysbiotic bacteria because of processed foods and because of antibiotics. Things like glyphosate and Roundup can definitely impact the microbiome as well. Other environmental things like mold or mycotoxins in the environment can definitely have an impact too. I would say just general stress. The more stressed you are, it activates the sympathetic nervous system, which is going to shut down more acid, more enzymes, more digestive secretions. It's going to make it harder for you to break down your food. It's going to make it harder for you to be consistent with your motility and move food through your intestinal tract. So that could create more digestive distress because maybe you're reabsorbing toxins from your stool. Maybe the foods are just sitting there too long. Maybe you have gastroparesis and that's causing reflux or a general gastritis because that acid in your stomach sitting there. It can create a whole host of problems. And so obviously we want to be able to absorb the nutrients from our food too, because these nutrients play a role with our metabolism, with our immune system, with our mitochondria. And so if we have impaired utilization, assimilation, and absorption of these nutrients, that can impact other systems as well. And so when it comes to food allergies, some can be genetic, like these IgE things. Some things can be healed, or the immune response to them can get better over time as we improve microbiome, beneficial microbiome, right? Beneficial probiotics, as we knock down dysbiotic bacteria, as we decrease exposure, allow the immune system to kind of come down and relax over time as we knock out maybe dysbiotic bugs, as we knock out maybe parasites or H. pylori, or maybe even candida overgrowth. All these things can be present. So it'd be good to test. Again, in my long form video, we'll put that down below. That'll be out soon. That go a little bit more into details on some of these things. And so it's good to look deeper and get to the under the hood and say, what's the root cause? What can I do? And so you want to look at the stress. You want to look at enzymes and acids. You want to look at microbes. You want to look at exposure maybe to antibiotics or processed foods, or just overall stress that could be impacting the microbiome. Again, if you have digestive issues, whether it's bloating, diarrhea, motility issues, just not breaking food down. Maybe there's a lot of food chunks. Maybe there's a lot of floating stool, right? You probably have some issues going on, and you got to look deeper. Now, half the time, digestive issues may not even correlate with digestive symptoms. That's the crazy thing. It could be bloating. It could be brain fog. It could be fatigue. It could be mood issues. And so you got to look a little bit deeper under the hood. So put links down below, guys. If you want to reach out on the functional medicine side, I see patients worldwide. If you want that support, link down below. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and have an awesome day. Take care, guys. Bye.